I'm going to take you through the steps that I do. And so right now, it took me a long time to decide what I wanted to do with this bag. And I made some sketches on it. But now I'm going to be doing crazy quilting. And all it is take pieces of fabric and then, cut them in different shapes if you'd like. Okay, let me just get one that should go here. So I have a bunch of them and I cut them. I didn't, cut them in even shapes. Some I made a little bit long. And all right, so over here, there's a piece that has to go here. So I don't want to waste, this much fabric. But in this instance, I am. Okay, so what I do is I put the fabric down. And then I'm going to sew a 1/4 of an inch all the way down. And then when I turn it over, I press it. I have my little iron thingy here. And then I press it. I, almost finger press it, or just this kind of press, that iron. And then once it gets big enough for me to cut the pattern, the shape of the bag, then I'll, decide which shape I want to give it. But right now I'm just doing the crazy quilting, I think you call it. Okay, everybody, I've added a lot of fabric to it, and it's big, but it's not that big because I still have to put, like I said, my pattern on it. And now, as you do this, if you're going to do this and you never did it before, just keep on adding pieces. Now, you see here, there's an opening here, right? If I pull this back, you see the underneath. So, but I'm not worried about this because when I make this big enough, I'm going to put pieces of fabric down, and then I'm going to do my decorative stitches. So, or I may put something else in that place, or see, like I saved these little pieces too that I cut off. Hold on. All right, so I saved these little pieces, and then after this is completed, then I'm going to do, the crazy stitches around here. Not the crazy stitches, the decorative stitches. But slowly but surely, it's getting big. I don't know if you could see it. It's like nice and big now. And I still have to do the other side. So this is the front, and then I have to do the other side too. Okay. Okay, everybody. I came to the ironing board. I ironed some pieces. I have some pieces that are ready to be sewn, and I'm trying to stay with this red. And I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but this is a very pretty red. It's not a red, but it's like an orangey red kind of red. So I have some other, because I don't have too much of this on here, different designs, but I'm going to see where my reds are. So yeah, this is too deep of a red. That may go. See, and this is deep. This is not a good color for me right now. This is too deep. So I found another red that I had. This was a pretty red too. But this red is going to go with this pattern. This is my next project. So I think I have some reds here. I got to go through this. This is me and my sister fabrics. These are the charms. So I did have the cherries here, but I'm not going to add the cherries. Those don't go. I do have the polka dots. That's going to go. Okay. So that's going to go. That's going to go. Let's see. Yeah, that will go. Because it's almost like this. I think this is Bada Bing by me and my sister fabrics. So I got this piece pinned here. This is going to go on. And then when I continue it, it's going to open up like that. But you got to stay with the colors. I mean, if color doesn't matter to you and, you just want to apply different colors, do your own thing. So I'm going to do this one, but I'm going to continue it in the next video. Okay, my friends, this is the second part of me making the purse with the paper piecing or the crazy, whatever you call it. You know what I'm talking about, if you sew. But anyway, so what I did was I cut out I'm trying to like zoom out. All right, so I cut out the pattern for my purse and I did all the crazy quilting. I forgot what you call it. And then I put some Pellon underneath, not too thick, because now what I'm doing is I'm going to do some crazy stitches. So right here I have this design. I don't even know what design this is. 07. Okay. And I have the Innovis 6700D Quattro 2. So I'm doing this design and I just did this one. The little stars. So I'm just going to do a little bit. I have to pay attention because I don't want to go off of the seam. So I noticed that I don't have too much thread in red. I only have a couple of reds. And I wanted the different reds so that I can do contrast. Also, I was thinking maybe doing variegated thread in red, and because doing it over the gray. So on this section, once I complete this, I know you can't see because the foot. I'm using my end foot, but sometimes I use my open toe foot. So now I'm getting really close to the edge, and I have to go very slow because I don't want to go over that. So it's best to like count. Okay, and now I'm going to just cut it. The thread I'm using is Metla, and it's 50 weight. So this is the design, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all along the entire seams of this, and I'm going to do different threads. And this is the only threads of red I have. I think I have to order some. This is two, I don't know if you could see it. It's like two, like a fuchsia red. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. This is the closest one that I have for the reds. This is the silk finish thread. So that's, what it looks like, which I think is pretty. So now over here, what I did was, because of the way I cut the fabric, I didn't cut it on the bias. I did cut it on the bias, excuse me. I did cut it on the bias, and because I didn't feel like just doing you know, wasting a lot of fabric. So I just cut it any which way I could, which gave me, you know, the fabric stretching. But we're going to see. We're going to see how it comes out. Okay, so I don't want to pull these pieces off. As I come to them, I'll cut them, or else I'm going to ravel the fabric. All right. So once I do a couple more designs, we'll do the next step. Okay, everybody, this is Material Girl 338. I am working on the purses. One side, and this is the other side. Okay, so what I realized was that I put the backing on. Okay, and now I'm going to do some crazy stitching over it. So I did some of this. Some stitches did not come out. See over here? I don't know if it's my needle or I don't know if it's the bobbin, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some rickrack over this section here because I made a boo-boo. And then I did some more stitching. Okay, and on this side, I did some of this. And now when I did the crazy quilting or whatever you call it, I didn't cut the fabric the way they normally do because fabric is so expensive and I just didn't want to waste it. So I just took whatever way the fabric was. Excuse me for a second, I want to get something. I took any which way the fabric was and I just cut it. You know, I cut it with my what the hell? I can't talk today. My rotary cutter. Okay, so I did that, and you know, as a result, when you do that, you're not cutting the fabric on the bias, so you're getting more frayed edges. But no worries. Fray check to the rescue. Okay. So, and if I mess up on a stitch, I just put some fray check on it, or I just do fray check on the ends because I'm not, I don't know, like I'm not into this bag. I just want to get it over with because I already cut the fabric and I don't want to waste the fabric. So I'm not going crazy like I normally do. And so I'm just adding, you know, stitches, and I have to, at this point, I got to change my needle and I have to clean out my bobbin. And I noticed that I don't have too much red thread, so I have to buy that. Meanwhile, Joann's is going out of business, and we relied on Joann's 700 stores throughout the United States to keep, you know, us getting our notions and our scissors and whatever. And I don't like their threads. I use Metla threads. Some of them, Gutermann, I don't really like. I think it has a coating on it. These are Metla. These are silk finish threads. And they're beautiful. They're beautiful threads. They have a nice sheen to them. But anyway, I don't have enough. This is the only ones I have. This is Sulky. Yeah, this is Metla. But this is a thick thread. This is 50 weight. So I could do that, you know, make some things, because I only have 2 red threads. So I got to buy them. In the process, I was looking through my pictures and I came across my grandfather's inventions. So my grandfather, this is in 1920, on March the 30th, he was a tailor, and he designed these feet. So I was looking through them because in the patent office, you have to give a description. And I noticed that he created the gathering foot, the guide foot, which is, I don't have it with me right now. It's the, second. It's the walking foot with the guide. So he created that, and he created the cording foot. And he also created, I don't know what I did with it. I got like 3 walking feet. And he created the bar that goes in here. The seam guide. He also created, let me see, where is it? So he created this. This is the seam, the adjustable seam guide. And he created the foot. I mean, he was really ahead of his time. He was a tailor, and he always walked around. I always remembered him as a kid, walking around with his glasses on the tip of his nose and the measuring tape around his neck. So, and nobody in my family, which is really unbelievable, nobody in my family has any sewing, quilting, designing abilities. Well, they probably have, but nobody's really taken any kind of interest towards it. So then he also invented the rolled hem foot with the adjustable width. See this here? That's an adjustable width. And I think I have one. I have a couple of them. He did, this is the type of feet. Goes like that. The rolled hem foot. Okay, that's the rolled hem over here. He also invented this, and I'm trying to figure out what this is, and I think it's the attachment. It's this attachment that goes all the way on the sewing machine. He calls it a tape something, but he also invented the cording foot. Here's the cord going to the foot. This is the underneath of the cording foot. And then these are his other designs. He invented this foot, which is the gathering foot. The ruffling foot, the gathering foot. Isn't that amazing? And I'm still going through this because he did other feet here. This one looks like the 1/4 inch foot. So I still have to go through this. And then I got to read this. This is a big patent. In November 1940, wow, this is a big one. He invented the steam iron. He invented the steam here to the iron. And this patent was November 19th, 1940. And that's the iron. And I remember this iron when I was a kid. We used to go to my grandmother's house. They lived in the basement. Well, they lived upstairs, but everybody hung out in the basement and in Brooklyn. And we remember the ironing board was always open with the iron on the ironing board and the sewing machine. He had a Singer sewing machine. And the story was that him and my uncle, made the iron. And GE came to them, and GE wanted to buy the patent, and they refused. Well, my uncle refused. Told my grandfather, don't take the offer. But if my grandfather would have taken the offer, we would have been very wealthy today. We would have received royalties from this. So what GE did was they came and they looked at the iron, and they went back and they copied it. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Maybe that's, well, I know, that's where I get my talent from. My grandfather was not only an inventor, but he was a tailor. And he loved sewing. He made beautiful clothing for his children. He had 6 children. And I look at some of the old pictures of my mother's dresses. He used to make beautiful dresses for her, lace dresses. And my mother at that time wanted to sing. And that was during the speakeasy era. And she would, get all dressed up and go on stage. And she wanted to perform. She wanted to sing. She wanted to dance. And at that time, the old timers didn't want her to do that. So my great-grandfather, her grandfather, found my mother in a speakeasy, and he hit her with a cane. And he hit her across the face with the cane, and he gave her a mastoid, and he disfigured her. And so her lip went up, because he paralyzed her lip with the mastoid. And ever since then, my grandmother never forgave her father for doing something like that. But the back of the story is that my grandfather made beautiful, beautiful clothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because I have a lot of singer feet, but I don't have the feet that, I have my machine. I have a Quattro Innovis 6700. See, these feet are for my machine, for my shank. But I'm going to do this. This is a rolled hem foot, and I'm going to do them, because I do use them. I think this is the foot he may have done. This is the seam foot. I don't know. Anyway, all right, so I'll get back. I went off on a tangent. Shout out to my grandfather who's in heaven, and Grandpa, one of your grandchildren loved your designs and is very thankful for all the feet that you created and the ironing. Okay, everybody, I'll tell you the next step when I get to it. Okay? All right, bye. Hi, everybody. This is Material Girl 338, otherwise known as Diane. This is the next step in making the purse. So, I sewed together all the pieces from the fabric, and I started to give it a design. And then I realized I'm running low. I don't have really a lot of reds, and I don't have too many grays. So I have to order some more. So I started to do this design, and then what I noticed was, let me put the light here so you can see better. I don't know, is that good or bad? So what I noticed was the thread was slipping here, and it could be from my needle, or it could be from the bobbin. I don't know, because I took the thread out and I changed it. I may have had embroidery thread on the bottom, so it was slipping. So this has to be taken out. If I don't want to take it out, because I don't want to really shred the fabric, I can give it like a rickrack design. Let's see. I have some gray, I have red, and I have white. Getting a tour of my room. I got a guy across the street who's power washing the concrete, and it's 2.5 days now. It's driving me crazy. Okay, so if I don't feel like doing this, I'm going to either put some rickrack over it and recover the boo-boo. Okay? I think the gray will go nice. So anyway, so I started giving it some pretty designs with my machine. This is another one. And This is the second part. The red came out nice. I like the way the red design was. Now, what I did here was, this is the, no, I folded this. Here, I got to fix this right here. I got to take it out. One of the many pleasures of sewing is removing threads. So with this fabric, the way I did it was, I just cut. I cut the fabric, and I cut it mostly on the bias so it stretched, okay? And then, you know, I look for shortcuts all the time. And this is just a sample, a tester. So what happens is, when you do it this way, you know, the fabric stretches. So I didn't feel like sitting here and cutting it all on the seam. So I just did it this way. But the fabric will fray a little bit more. But no worries, because I'm going to cover this up. I'll cover it with the Rick Rack, so you're not going to see this. And plus, it's a bag, so it's going to be the outside. And then I put some Pellon on the back, and then this one. And I'm glad I iron with the silicone Teflon pad, because I didn't realize that this was a sandwich Pellon. It's fusible on both sides, so I could have, like, you know, had to go replace my ironing board cover, which I'm glad I use that pad all the time. So now over here is the inside, the lining of the bag. I'm going to get ready to sew it, but before I sew it, I'm going to fuse this on, and then I'm going to add a pocket. So I'm going to do that, and then I got some designs that I want to add to it. I may add some buttons to the front of it. All right, sorry guys, I'm moving a lot. So I want, maybe I'll finish it off with some buttons. Or I made some leaves. These leaves, all you do is cut the fabric out in a shape of a leaf, right? And then just sew it, turn it inside out. You could do it any which way you want. You can use any kind of fabric you want. And it comes out really pretty, because it comes out like this. This is one of my other bags. See, so I want to do that. Maybe make a Rick Rack. Because then I put that there. Once it's, bound, then I can do that. Also, what I made is I did some, the remaining fabric. Don't throw any fabric out. First of all, it's too expensive. And second of all, Joann's is closing over 700 stores. And it's going to make it hard for us sewers. Thank you, Donald Trump. All right, so this could be a bow. My hand is in the way. Could be a bow. I am going to finish these, but I'm not going to use them. In the last video, I showed you why, because I had forgot how to make them, and then I remembered. And then, so this part here is to, and plus the backing has to be red. But in the interim, I do not want to waste any fabric, because fabric is expensive, like you all know. So I cut out some leaves, some lips, and I put the Pellon underneath. So these could be ironed on, but before I did this, I marked it with my pen because I think I'm going to do some stitching on here just to highlight it. And then this piece don't go. That goes in the other pile. So here I could add some flowers. And these are Pellon or Wonder Under. I forgot what they were. I also made some circles. Okay. So I have different shapes. This is from my Sizzix. And then that's just to dress it up. I also made a gray one. And I'm going to, you know, wherever you see this, I'm going to highlight it with this sewing, with the stitches. This guy is driving me crazy with this machine, with this power washer. They're making a tile for the backyard. The builder is building a house. It's taking him forever to build this house. If it was me, I would have it built in a year. And the owners are nowhere to be found. You think when you're building a house, you know, you'd be up the you-know-what of the builder, seeing all the materials you're putting in to the home that you're going to buy? No, that's just me. Anyway, so I got circles here and some flowers. What I can do is, see, I also did hearts. Let me move this out of the way. I made little hearts, made little circles, made different flowers. That could be a little too busy. That doesn't go. But you could do this. Or you use a smaller one. I don't know. What's the matter here? Oh, I got a piece of tape. I also made stars. And then, you know, you sew the rest. But right now I'm in the fooling around stage. I don't know what I want to put on it, but I got to finish the seams and the sewing and put the Pellon on the bag. But these are embellishments, and you know, you could always use them. And when I have some time, I just make whatever with the fabrics that I have laying around. And with this particular project, I do have a lot of extra. So that's a good idea, right? That doesn't go. All right, we'll see. We'll see as I go along. Okay? And then in the interim, what I was doing was, you know, everybody has their stash, their fabric stash. But with the Joann's going out of business, my stash is becoming very valuable. So I am not going to throw out anything. I mean, the fabric has to be even this way. Look, I'm not even throwing out the ribbing. The fine pieces. I'm going to use this. And then I cut them out with the rotary cutter. I cut it out in crazy designs because then I'm going to put them on the backing of something when I figure out. And then I'm going to put tulle over it. Make it look like this a little bit. Okay. So the next part of this video is for me to do this stitching here. And then I got to put the iron on the pellon here. And then I got to make the pockets. So the pockets, I have some what I did was I went through all my stash, and all this stuff, you know, the little remnants I had in my stash box. I took them out and I got them here because you can make leaves with this. You know, these are good little pieces. So the pockets, these are the flaps. Either I can do this design or I can do a heart. Basically, I make the pockets all the same. I don't know, I gotta see. As I work, I invent. So save everything. Don't throw your scraps out. So like even this is my scraps. They're not my scraps. They're unfinished products that I have to still sew. This one's finished. My Petty Boop bag. And this I gotta sew. These are the linings for bags. Okay. All right, guys, I'm gonna, after I finish the stitching, then I'll show you the next video. Okay, my friends, I don't know what part the video that this is. This is the continuation of my purse with the crazy quilting, and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so I'm at the point where I've cut all my pieces of fabric, and I've sewn them together. And this is the, I'm trying to get further away so you can see it. So this is the shape of the purse, okay? And I started to do some stitching here. And I'm going to do just decorative stitching. Now over here, I made a boo-boo, so I have to correct that. This right here. I made a boo-boo. And what I do is, when I cut the also over here, I have to correct. When I cut the fabric, I don't go crazy. I'm not like a perfectionist. When I cut the fabric, I'm cutting it any which way. So I don't like to follow directions too much. And what I did was I could just cut the fabric whatever way I could, because fabric is expensive, and I'm not gonna blot out a piece and then cut on the seam. But this is cut on the bias, so which means that it makes the fabric a little bit more stretchier. And then as I go along, I just cut, and I get like little pieces, and then I match them up wherever I can match them up. I sew, then I iron it, and I open it up. Now see here, this piece is open, but I don't care about this because I'm going to put another piece of fabric here. So let's say I need a bigger piece. These are all small pieces. So let's say I put this piece here, right? I would actually use a longer piece because I wanted to cover this. So I'll turn it over, whichever way it is, and then I'll sew it. But I would look for a piece that would go to here, to here. Okay, and then I sew it. When I turn it over, that piece is covered. So, don't go crazy. Just sew. Just put the fabrics together and sew. That's the fun of it, okay? But I'm trying to conserve fabrics because Joann's is going out of business, and us quilters and sewers are kind of panicking. Like, where are we going to get our fabrics from? If you got to go to the quilt stores, it's going to be much more money. And if you got to go to Hobby Lobby, they don't really give you a break. So I don't know. Maybe another store will come in. I know that it was affected by the tariffs. Thank you, Donald Trump, for closing down Joann's. They closed down 700 stores. So, okay, so now let me just show you where I'm at. So I did the 2 bags. And now I'm going through putting the decorative stitches, right? So like I was saying, so I'm going to add decorative stitches, and then there's some pieces that I'm going to take off. So when I laid the fabric, let me see if I could show you. On some pieces where I laid the fabric, there's going to be the raw edge, but I don't care about that because I'm either going to fill it with either rickrack or, hold on, I'm sorry guys, or ribbon. Or just do a decorative stitch that's big enough to do that. Right now, here, I'm doing this, the strap. So I'm making a decorative stitch, and I don't know if you could see better that way. So I'm going slow. I have my seam guide on, and I'm doing a nice, like a herringbone stitch. I changed my needle. I have a 50 weight thread, and I'm, going to take my time, go slow. And then what I do on my straps is I put Pellon, I iron on the Pellon, then I fold each side, iron it, and then I do the decorative stitching. I don't know if you could see that. It's a pretty stitch. This is the stitch. Okay, so when I do the next step, which is going to be the pockets, I cut out the lining for the pockets, and I'm going to add 1 pocket. The other pocket, I didn't like the way it came out. It came out a little bit crooked, so I'm going to save that for another project. This side, I figured I'll make it black because it'll still match because it's, gray, white, red, and black. Okay. So then I have the other piece, the other strap. I'm not sure if I'm going to put 2 straps on this or if I'm going to make it a 1 strap folding bag. I'm not sure yet. When I get to that point, I'll let you know. Also, what I noticed is I ran out of thread. I don't have enough red thread. So I got to go buy some thread. I only have this red and this red. One is, this is the silk, Metla silk thread. It's 50 weight. And this guy is 50 weight silk finish Metla. It's the other Metla. And then I also have some grays to match. But I really wanted like a variegated color. I need thread. All right, so let me finish this project and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, everybody, this is almost the last video, almost the last video. So I sewed everything, put the straps on, sewed the lining in, and put the underneath in. And then what I want to do now is, see how the bag opens up? So I'm going to put a clasp here, but not a regular clasp. I'm just going to make a piece of material. I'm going to, make something like this. And then Oh, I can't staple it. I'm going to have to use Velcro because I've already sewn this. So if I was to use the clasp, I have to have this open so I can do the inside of the fabric so you don't see the back of the clasp. So, but I am going to do, there's other alternatives that I can do. So, I got to use my imagination, but I think that's basically what I want to do. Put the Velcro on it and the Velcro here. And just, you know, there's circle Velcro. There's also square ones. But I think it came out pretty cute. And I gave it the strap. I gave it one side, the strap. So it's easy to put on, you know, wear it on your shoulder. And then I made some bows. So they're just drying right now with the hot glue. I made some pretty bows. So let's see. I'm going to see what, you know, what looks good. Because now it's the experimental stage. Let's see what works. And I love doing this part. Because this part is the creative person in me. And I get to design. And that's basically what I love to do. I love to design. I love to make new things and create new things. So I'm going to work with these. Somehow, some way, I'm going to put these in on the bag. But maybe not on this bag. All right? So that's the part I'm up to. That will look cute too. Yeah, that would look cute with the flap coming over. All right. So thank you for watching. And I'm going to make the next video. And then you'll see what the finished bag is. Okay, everybody, this is the, I think, the final video. All right, so, when I opened up the bag, I put the one, let me show you. So, when I put the straps on it, let's come over here. When I put the straps on, I put one on this side and one on the other side. So, when you know, are carrying the bag, there's an opening. So to be a little bit more, not safe, but you just don't want people going into your bag or maybe a hand going in there, grabbing your stuff. So I wanted to put a flap on it. But I've already sewed the lining to it. So the next option is to do Velcro. So I just sewed on Velcro to a piece of fabric, and I'm gonna, you know, seal this. And then since the bag is already closed and I don't feel like opening up the seams and inserting this in between the seams, because then I'd have to open up this and put the, you know, the clasp on it. I should have done it before, but there's always an alternative method. And I noticed that I put this on crooked, so that's not gonna, I'm not sure. I may change this because it has to be even. To me, it's got to be even. All right, so this piece, what I'm going to do is, after I sew it, I'm going to give it a decorative stitch all around. You know, sew this. And then either I can sew it here. And then this way, I flap it. And then I'm going to put a piece of Velcro here to match the closing. Okay, so that's one of my options. So now I have my ham out. And I'm using steam. I really want to get nice and creased seam. This makes nice crisp seam. And this is bothering me, so I may take another fabric and yeah, that's bothering me. So also what I'm doing is I have to fold, give it a nice crease with the iron, all the sides of the bag, both sides. Okay, so I'm going to go all along the bag, nice and slow, and make a really good crease line. Okay, and then I'll show you after this. Hi everybody, this is Material Girl 338, otherwise known as Diane. I'm finishing up on the purse, the Crazy Patch purse that I'm making. So I want to show you what I've done and the next step. Okay, so I have to put my glasses on. All right, so I did the stitches and I completed all of them, and I gave them all different, designs. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And then this is the other side of the purse. Gave some nice, and I made sure that I completed all the ends, or finishing up all the ends. I noticed just right over here too, but I'm not too concerned about this. Nobody's gonna look with a magnifying glass at the back. All right, so this is the front and the back of the bag, and then I put the strap on it. Now I'm not sure, because I have two straps. I made two straps. I'm not sure what I want to do. Either I want to put one strap here and another strap on the opposite side, so it's a shoulder bag with one strap. Okay, and then I just completed the lining, and I put the bag on it, and I gave it a pretty decorative stitch. And now I'm up to the next step, where I'm going to sew this, but this I'm going to move. This is going to go on the back of the bag. Okay, so when you open the bag, you're going to have one strap here and one strap here on the back. I think it's going to be more decorative. So that's that step. I'm going to sew that piece together. Then what I'm going to do is, I have two options here. When you're sewing a bag, you can either pin it all along, sew all this, make sure that this is sewn, and then sew all along, but leave an opening, because you're going to have to turn this piece, is going to go inside the bag. The lining is going to go inside the bag, and I think I have it on backwards. So this part always confuses me, because you have to take this, turn it inside out, push it in. No, I think I do have it the correct way, because if you open this, sorry, I'm working with one hand, and in order for me to put my tripod on, I have to take the phone case cover off, and it's so hard, because this phone case that I bought, it's like impossible to take it off. So anyway, so this piece here, the lining, it gets pushed into the bag. And then, after you've sewn all of the seams all around, leave a little bit of an opening, because you have to take this and turn it inside. Okay? You have to maneuver it. And then you iron it. And then you should have a nice even seam Let me show you. A nice even crease seam all along, okay? This is one of the bags that I completed. I have a video on this. This is one of my designs. So I keep it here because I got to remind myself. I have to remind myself what I'm doing. So then also what I want to do is I'm going to decorate it with a bow. I think this time, so I cut out a piece of fabric, I ironed it, and then I cut 2 pieces to make a bow. It's either I'm going to use this one or I'm going to use this one. Okay, they're both the same size fabric, and then what you do is scrunch it, glue it, hot glue it, wrap this around this, and then you can glue it to the bag. So I have some different ideas that I want to do, but I want to complete this step, okay? Okay, everybody, this is the final video. I put the bow on here, and I did the flap. I sewed the Velcro, and then this is here. I don't know if, maybe I'm going to cover this up with one of my labels, my sewing labels, which it may be a good idea. And then what I think I'm going to do is when I sew that label on, I'm going to use invisible thread, so this way you don't get to see that. Okay, so I put the piece of Velcro, I put this piece on, and if you see here, this is some of the hot glue. I'm trying to peel it off. If it doesn't come off, I'm going to place something on it to distract that. Or maybe I'll sew a button. That's a good idea too. Or another button. I'm going to turn it around. Yeah, because I don't like that. That's not my work. And that will bother me. So I'm going to try to peel it off. If it doesn't peel off and the button doesn't work, I will remove this and do a new one. Okay? So, all in all, this is what the bag looks like. This is the inside. Hold it. That's the inside. I gave it a pocket. Let me see if you can see it. I gave it a pocket. Inside is nice and roomy, but this is bothering me. So I don't know if there's hot glue remover. And what I did here was I stitched down some stationary stitches just to hold the bow in. I got to fix that. I got to trim it. Or, where's my things? What did I just do with them? Or maybe put a bow there. That doesn't go. I was going to do, I was going to add leaves to it, but I think it's too much. So I was going to put the leaves, and then I was going to put either a button or another button. I don't know if I like that one. Another button. Another button. That looks nice. Another button. It's too much black on black. So I'm sewing other leaves, other colors that I have. So when I do those, and what you do with these leaves, they're very easy to do. Cut out a shape of a leaf like this. Hold on. Cut out a leaf or a shape of a leaf, right? Like that. Sew them together. Oh, that's nice. And then what I do is I crunch it a little bit to give it the leaf more dimension. And then just, you know, do a single stitch. Let's see. No, that doesn't go. Nope. And when you do the single stitch, it makes it like this. It gives it the crease in there. So it makes it look like a leaf. Okay? Now I got to fool around with it, and I'm not too happy with the glue here. Let me see if I can try to fix it. If I can, great. If not, I have to change this. Okay. Hi everybody, this is the final video of the Crazy Patch quilting. Okay, so the last video before this, I showed you that I made the glue here. It came over here. So I needed to cover it up. So I put this ornament on it, and it looks good. Because I wasn't about to take this off, remove this, or make a new one. That would have been too much. So I'm leaving the way it is. This is not, I see the little pieces of glue. I got to remove that. All right, so I'm leaving this as it is. It's not really centered, but I don't care no more. Okay, so that's the end of my bag on this particular purse. All right, so this is what it looks like. I did all the stitching, and I showed you how I did it in the first few videos. I think it came out really nice. And I put the one strap one side and the other side, so you can wear it on your shoulder. It came out really nice. I really do like it. Okay, guys, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, please post them below. Please subscribe to my channel because I always try to make new videos. Bye.